This is the Yunzi AL66, a $90 pre-built board that rivals the likes of the Sugar65 and many other 65% that came out at the end of this year. Let's quickly look at it at the flesh. Before anything else, a quick disclaimer that Yunzi messaged me to review this unit, but all thoughts are mine. Opening up the box, we first see the manual for the board itself that houses the setup process for the multi-mode, the layers of the function keys, and more. Passing along, we see the extra sets of keycaps should you wish to accent up the board, a great touch in my opinion. Then, we see the board itself wrapped up in a plastic shell. We'll take a look at it later. Lastly, in this compartment on the right, leaves a keycap and switch puller combo, as well as the braided USB cable. Finally, the board itself. I got the blue colorway with the milk switches, and my first impressions is that it looks so sleek. The Yunzi AL66 is a tri-mode 65% keyboard with the knob on the top right. To give you a comparison, think of this as the budget version of the Zoom 65 and Final Key B65, but a step above the Rockpira Plus or Epomaker EK68, just because of its materials. From the front, we see your standard 65% layout with the knob on the top right that can act as your RGB selector or volume. A cool addition to this layout is that the blocker houses the charging indicator as well as the caps lock LED. A cool use of space, but it might throw some of you off with the design. This is similar to the design of the EK68 but with the aluminum case, and I think it looks so much cleaner than the plastic one. To the sides, we see a Monskick look-alike design with a side glow translucent material. It's quite uneven on the edges, and I do see some hot spots. And I hope Yunzi fixes this with another PCB. But for now, I think it's a cool feature to have on an alu board. It just needs a better implementation, in my opinion. To the rear, we see the heaps of controls you have with this board. Starting off with the Windows and Mac physical toggle, also present on Keychron boards, the slightly recessed USB Type-C port, the mode switch for Bluetooth and wireless, as well as a spot for the 2.4 GHz dongle. To be honest, I don't like the printing they did on the controls, but hey, at least it's facing away from you in use. As per the build quality, I didn't see any dinks or scuffs in my unit. And that's from the outside. I can't confirm if this is true on the inside, as mine came with a strip screw on the bottom left side, and right after typing the script, even the bottom right screw is stripped. Hence, I can't open it up. The anodization process is quite nice and has a grainy texture into it, and I didn't see any mismatches coming from the top and bottom piece. As for the PCB, it's your typical 65% south-facing PCB with perky RGB, tri-mode connectivity, and housed with a 4600 mAh battery. It will last weeks on a single charge. The plate is polycarbonate, which helps a little with the gasket mounting, and the board is built with all the foams chucked inside. A weird and nice choice they made is having plate mount stabs as opposed to screw-ins. But hey, if you're a beginner into this hobby, having plate mount stabs is better, as you can easily retune them without disassembling the whole board. The switches are their own milk switches, which are a linear box type switch with a light actuation force and a clear top housing. Materials are PC top, nylon bottom, and palm stem, and with all the foams installed, it produces some satisfactory deep clacks. The keycaps are a bit of a hit or miss with me. They're thick PBT die subs, but the Legends and Legend consistency are subpar. It's better than your typical ABS set, but there's something about the Legends that doesn't look right with me. Either way, for the price, it's included, and I can't be picky with that. Moving over the keycaps, here's a sound test of the board. All stock, all foam, and with no mods attached. As you can hear, this board sounds nice even stock, with all the foams and the stabs tuned out of the box. I don't have any complaints with the setup. If I were only able to remove the screws, I'd listen to this foamness. But hey, I think for the newcomer into this hobby, this is a nice experience out of the box. The foam deepened down the sound and gave it that foamy sound signature, and the switches were a delight to use, despite their 35-gram light actuation force. The board is available on Yunzii's website for 90 USD or about 5,000 pesos pre-built, while the bare bones version is about 4,000 pesos. The Sugar65 on the other hand can be had bare bones for 3,000 pesos with almost the same design and layout except the side glow, the blocker indicators, not to mention the tri-mode connectivity the AL66 has. If you think about it, for an increase of 1,000 pesos, I think it's worth saving up more for this board instead. Heck, if you don't want to build it yourself, the pre-built version is good enough. My only concern for this board is the lack of BIA support and the lack of any multi-layout compatibility the Sugar65 has, like the ANSI Enter or ISO Enter support. But then again, if you're looking for a bang for the buck CNC aluminum board in this layout, this, along with its AL71 cousin, is a serious hitter. It may be a safe, tried and tested design, but the vast majority of consumers love this layout, and I think they hit a sweet spot with this one. How about you? What are your thoughts with the AL66? Let me know down below. I'm John J. Biraba, and I'll see you in the next video.